The night shift at Deep Space Listening Station 9 was usually quiet, sometimes too quiet. Commander Ryan Hale sat alone in the dim control room staring at the wall of blinking screens. The machines hummed softly, picking up signals from far across the galaxy. Most signals were just static or harmless cosmic noise. Nothing exciting ever happened here, but Ryan didn't mind. He liked the emptiness, the silence, the distance from politics and people. He liked the idea that somewhere out there in the endless darkness someone might be calling. And maybe one day humanity would finally hear them. Tonight that call arrived. It began with a soft beep, a new signal alert, the kind that only triggered for something unusual. Ryan leaned forward. Another asteroid reflection, he muttered. But then the second beep came, then the third. The computer screen changed to red, restricted frequency detected. Ryan straightened in his chair. Restricted frequency, that was impossible. Only military channels used that category and nothing human should be transmitting from that part of space. He quickly typed commands trying to trace the source. The signal was weak, like it had traveled a long way, but its path was clear. It came from outside the Orion arm, far beyond any human presence. Ryan felt a small pulse of excitement. This could be first contact, a real one. But then the speakers turned on by themselves, and a voice spoke, not a human voice, not even close. A deep, rough, distorted sound filled the room. It felt like metal grinding, like a creature breathing through broken lungs. The sound alone made the hair on Ryan's arm stand up. Then words formed. "Congratulations, humans." The voice echoed through the station, cold and mocking. Ryan froze. "Humans." The message was directly addressing humanity. The voice continued. "You have just declared war on the most lethal species alive." Then silence, a silence so deep that Ryan could hear his own heartbeat pounding against his ribs. He replayed the message twice, then 3 times. The words didn't change. The tone didn't soften. Each time it felt colder. Declared war. How? Who? Humans were not fighting anyone. Humanity had barely explored its nearby star systems. There were no colonies far enough to meet unknown species. Ryan felt a sudden shiver. This wasn't a random broadcast. It was a reply, but a reply to what? He opened the data logs, searching for outgoing signals. After several minutes of combing through long-range transmissions, he found something strange. A probe. An old, simple, human-made probe launched years ago. It wasn't armed. It wasn't dangerous. It carried only a basic human greeting. So how could this innocent machine create such a horrible misunderstanding? Ryan didn't know, but he knew one thing. This message needed to be reported immediately. He stood, grabbed his datapad, and rushed to the emergency console. His fingers shook slightly as he activated the red alert channel. "Commander Hale to Earth Command," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "We have received a first contact signal, and it is threatening." He sent the recording. He waited. The reply came faster than he expected. "Commander Hale, confirm authenticity." The officer on the other side demanded. Ryan swallowed. "Confirmed. Signal origin is unknown but extragalactic. Message is clear." There was a pause, a long, heavy pause. Ryan imagined the officer's face turning pale as he listened to the horrible voice. Then the officer spoke again. "Commander, prepare for lockdown. We're sending a shuttle." Ryan paced the room. His mind was racing, but everything felt unreal. Why would an alien species accuse humans of declaring war? Why threaten them so aggressively? And how did they even know about humanity? He didn't get time to think more. The lights suddenly flickered. The screens turned black, then flashed with a new warning. "Incoming transmission, unknown source." Ryan's mouth went dry. Another message. Before he could react, the speakers turned on again. This time, the voice was even deeper, even more angry, and much closer. "You cannot hide. We heard your challenge. We accept." Ryan stepped back. His breath caught in his throat. The message wasn't just a broadcast now. It had locked onto the station specifically. A personal message. A threat sent directly to him. Suddenly, the whole building trembled. Ryan grabbed the nearest table to keep his balance. "What now?" he whispered. The vibration grew stronger, like something massive was passing near the station, something big enough to affect gravity. Ryan looked at the ceiling, then at the sealed windows that faced open space. He hesitated only a moment before walking toward them. Every instinct screamed at him not to look, but he had to. He pressed the window control and the thick shield slid open, and outside he saw darkness, pure darkness, not the normal, peaceful darkness of space, but a moving shadow, a shape, huge, silent, wrong. A dark mass glided past the station like a giant predator drifting through deep water. No lights, no engines visible, no markings. But Ryan felt it watching him. His skin crawled, his heart hammered. This thing was not human, and it was too close. He stepped back slowly. The shadowy shape faded into the distance, but another tremor shook the station. A system alarm blared, motion detected, outer perimeter breached. Something had touched the hull, something alive. Ryan reached for the emergency barrier switch, but stopped when a second message whispered through the speakers. This one was almost gentle, almost curious. "Do you fear us?" Ryan froze. The whisper felt like it came from behind him, not from the speakers. He spun around. No one was there. He tapped the alarm. The whole station locked down, doors sealed, lights brightened, defense systems activated. Earth Command's voice came through again. "Commander Hale, report. What's happening?" Ryan forced himself to speak. Something is outside the station. The officer on the comm sounded horrified. That's impossible. You're in deep space, no ship should be near you. I don't know what it is, Ryan replied, but it's watching us. Before Earth Command could answer, the station power flickered again. Sparks flew from the main console. The alarms shut down one by one. The lights dimmed until only the emergency glow remained. Ryan took a deep breath. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't trained for alien encounters. But right now, he was the only human in direct contact with something hostile. A noise echoed through the ventilation shaft. A slow, scraping sound, metal against metal. Ryan tightened his grip on his datapad. He felt like a child compared to whatever creature was now inside the walls. Another whisper came, "We study our prey before the hunt." Ryan's entire body tensed. Prey, that's what humans were to them. He moved slowly toward the weapons locker, trying not to make noise. His hands trembled as he unlocked it and grabbed the emergency plasma pistol. He knew the weapon was useless against something that could move between stars so easily, but it made him feel slightly less helpless. The station grew quiet again, too quiet. Ryan held his breath and listened. Nothing, then a crash. A metal panel fell from the ceiling. Something dropped through the hole, something small, round, and alive. It crawled across the floor like a mechanical spider. But its legs were organic, twitching with unnatural movements. Ryan aimed his gun. The creature stopped, then without warning it opened like a flower, revealing an eye inside, a glowing red eye. It stared at Ryan, and then it spoke in that same terrible voice. "War begins with the first look." Ryan fired. The plasma bolt hit the creature. It exploded in a burst of sparks and burnt flesh. A horrible smell filled the room, but before Ryan could feel relief, every console turned red again. A final message appeared on the screens. "We come, prepare your graves." The shadow outside the station moved again, and then the whole place shook violently. Ryan stumbled toward the emergency escape pod. He didn't look back. He didn't stop. He slammed the pod door shut and launched it just as the listening station imploded behind him. Through the small window, he watched in horror as the massive shadow swallowed the remains of Station 9. His escape pod drifted silently into space. Ryan whispered to himself, voice shaking, "Earth must know." Behind him, the stars felt suddenly darker, as if something ancient and deadly was now awake and coming. The escape pod drifted through the cold silence of space for hours before rescue ships reached it. When Commander Ryan was pulled aboard the patrol vessel, he looked like a man who had stared into the eyes of death, and survived only because death had allowed him to. The officers rushed him to medical, but Ryan refused treatment. "I need to talk to Earth Command," he insisted. His voice was steady, but his eyes held a haunted emptiness. Within minutes, a secure communication line opened. The holographic faces of Earth's highest officials appeared, leaders, generals, and scientists, but two faces stood out among them, Ambassador Xeron of the Vaktari Empire and Ambassador Threya of the Yulan Coalition. Two of humanity's closest alien allies. Both looked disturbed, even afraid. Ryan explained everything, the message, the shadow outside the station, the creature that crawled from the ceiling, the final threat. The council did not interrupt. They listened in absolute silence. When Ryan finished, the humans in the room exchanged worried glances. But the two alien ambassadors looked worse, shaken, pale, and hiding something. General Marcus spoke first. "Commander Hale, what exactly did you see outside the station?" Ryan swallowed. "I saw a shape, huge, silent, like a predator watching me through the glass." Threya flinched. Xeron lowered his head. Ryan noticed instantly. "You know something," he said. Both of you. Neither answered. General Marcus stepped forward. "Ambassadors, humanity deserves the truth." Threya's voice trembled. "You were never supposed to encounter them, never." "Who are they?" Ryan demanded. Xeron finally spoke, his voice low and heavy. "They are called the Red Harvesters." The room fell silent. Even their name felt sharp and violent. Ryan repeated it softly. "Harvesters? They do not harvest food," Xeron said. "They harvest life." Ryan felt a chill crawl down his spine. Threya continued, her long fingers shaking. "When a harvester fleet enters a star system, nothing remains. No cities, no people, no atmosphere, nothing." She paused. "They destroy everything and leave only silence." General Marcus slammed his fist on the table. "Why didn't you warn us?" Xeron's eyes filled with shame. "Because we hoped you would never be noticed by them. Your species evolved too fast, too quickly, faster than any we have seen." Threya nodded. "You spread through space faster than expected. You sent probes into regions no species dares to enter." Ryan felt a sinking feeling. "So the probe we sent entered their territory?" "Yes," Xeron said. "The harvesters believe you challenged them. They do not understand accidents. They see everything as a declaration of dominance." Ryan's jaw tightened. "And now they're coming for us." Threya looked pained. "They always come. Once they choose a prey, they never stop." A long silence followed. Then General Marcus said the words everyone feared: "We must prepare Earth for war." But Xeron quickly held up a hand. No, you must evacuate Earth. The room erupted. Ryan stared in shock. Evacuate, abandon our home. Threya nodded sadly. It is the only way to survive the harvesters. No species has ever defended their homeworld, not once. General Marcus looked furious. We are not cowards. Humans do not run. The alien ambassadors looked at each other with pity. Xeron spoke carefully. Your courage, your defiance, these are the reasons we thought humans had a chance to rise, but this enemy is not one you can defeat. Ryan stepped forward. No, you don't understand humans. We don't lose before the fight even begins. Threya sighed. That is why we fear for you. Before the debate could continue, a loud alarm echoed through the chamber. Alert, unknown anomaly detected near Earth orbit, classified as hostile signature. Everyone froze. General Marcus opened the live feed on the main screen. Ryan felt his heart stop. A giant dark shape was sliding into Earth's orbit, just like the one he saw outside Station 9, huge, silent, watching, a harvester scout. The council chamber erupted with noise, panic, shouting, commands being shouted into comms, but Ryan didn't hear any of it. He could only hear the whispered words from the creature in the station, we study our prey before the hunt. And now the harvester was studying Earth. General Marcus barked orders. Activate orbital defenses, prepare intercept fighters, lock all space elevators, seal all colonies. But the alien ambassadors looked defeated. Threya whispered, it's too late. Xeron added, their scouts never come alone, the fleet follows. Ryan stared at the screen as the dark ship drifted slowly above Earth like a shadow crawling across the sky. His voice was quiet but strong. They're here. And in that moment, every human in the room felt the same cold truth. The war had already begun. The Harvester scout ship hovered in Earth's orbit like a dark omen. Every country, every colony, every outpost was watching the live broadcast. People prayed, cried, panicked. But Commander Ryan Hale didn't have time for fear. He stood with General Marcus and the alien ambassadors inside Earth Command's strategic room, staring at the massive shadow on the screen. It's not attacking, Ryan said. His voice was calm, but his eyes were sharp. It's waiting. Threya shivered. That is what makes them more dangerous. General Marcus frowned. Waiting for what? Xeron stepped forward slowly. For a mistake, harvesters love testing new prey. They push it, they poke it, they corner it, and watch how it reacts. Marcus clenched his fists. Well, they won't like how humans react. But Ryan wasn't listening anymore. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. He turned away from the main screen and focused on a smaller monitor inside the corner of the room. It displayed a pattern, a pulsing rhythm coming from the Harvester scout ship. Is that a signal? Ryan asked. The tech officer nodded nervously. Yes, sir, but it's scrambled. We can't translate it. Ryan leaned closer. The pulses were too deliberate, too structured to be random. He recognized the pattern. Looked exactly like the same rhythm from the message he heard at Station 9. Ryan's heart tightened. It's the same species, he whispered. General Marcus looked at him. Explain. Ryan took a deep breath. When the station was attacked, the message I heard wasn't just spoken. It had a background pulse, a digital heartbeat. This is the same one. Threya looked horrified. They're trying to communicate. Xeron's eyes darkened. No, they are counting. Counting? Ryan asked. Counting what? Xeron answered with a trembling voice. Your weaknesses. Ryan felt goosebumps crawl up his arms. The pulses became faster. The scout ship slowly rotated, pointing toward Earth, not aiming weapons, just watching. General Marcus barked, arm all orbital cannons. But Ryan suddenly shouted, stop. Everyone froze. Ryan stepped closer to the general. If we fire first, we confirm their belief that humans want war. That will bring the entire Harvester fleet. Marcus looked torn but lowered his hand. Threya nodded. Commander Hale is right. Harvesters respond to aggression with annihilation. Xeron added, and they respond to weakness with entertainment. Ryan frowned. Entertainment, Xeron swallowed. They enjoy watching prey panic. They choose victims who give them the most fear. It makes the hunt fun for them. Ryan felt sick, so they want us afraid. The ambassadors nodded. General Marcus slammed the table. Well, they came to the wrong planet for that. But Ryan wasn't finished. He looked at the signal again. His mind raced. This is not a simple scan, Ryan said slowly. They're looking for something specific. What? Threya asked. Ryan pointed at the rhythm. A reply. Everyone stared at him. What do you mean? General Marcus asked. Ryan turned to the council. When our probe entered their territory, it sent a message. A simple human greeting. They didn't understand it. They thought it was a challenge. Now they're expecting us to follow the same format. Xeron's eyes widened. You mean they want to see how you answer your own challenge? Ryan nodded. Yes, they want our next move. Marcus stepped forward. Then we ignore them. No, Ryan said firmly. If we stay silent, they will think we are weak or scared. Threya whispered, and if you answer wrong, they will think you want war. Ryan stared at the looming scout ship. Humanity stood between two deadly choices. Say nothing, right arrow, look weak, right arrow, be hunted. Say something wrong, right arrow, look aggressive, right arrow, be eradicated. Ryan felt pressure tightening on his chest. Humanity had one chance, one message. What should they say to a predator species who believes humans declared war? And then the Harvester ship changed behavior. The pulses stopped. The screen showed a ripple of movement along the ship's surface, like skin shifting or armor breathing. A large opening appeared on its side. Everyone stared in horror as a long, thin beam of red light shot downward, not as a weapon but as a scanner. The beam touched Earth's atmosphere. Tech officers panicked. "Sir, they're scanning cities, multiple locations, random. They're mapping biology, population, defenses, everything." Ryan felt cold dread. "They're choosing who dies first." General Marcus finally snapped. "That's it, fire the orbital cannons." Ryan grabbed his arm. "General, wait, if you fire," but the room shook violently. The scout ship sent a second scan beam, brighter and wider. Tech officer screamed, "It's scanning you, Commander." Ryan's blood turned to ice. The beam locked onto his identity profile in the system. "Why him? Why pick him out of everyone?" The tech officer looked at the data in shock. "Commander, the ship is matching your voice pattern." Ryan's heart pounded. His voice, the message, that whispered line inside Station 9. "You fear us." He understood. The harvester creature in Station 9 had heard him, recorded him, marked him. Now the scout ship was connecting him to that encounter. Ryan felt the weight of the galaxy pressing on his lungs. Xeron spoke softly. "The harvesters have chosen their target." Threa looked at Ryan with pity. "They never choose randomly," General Marcus whispered. "Chosen for what?" Ryan swallowed hard. "For the first kill." The chamber fell silent. The harvester scout hovered above Earth like a dark god pointing a finger. But then something unexpected happened. The beam flickered. The scout ship's shape twisted. The rhythm pulse restarted, faster, stronger. The tech officer's face turned pale. "Sir, it's sending another message." Everyone listened as the speakers cracked. The voice came again, dark, echoing, and terrifying. "Human, you survived our first greeting." Ryan's breath hitched. "Now we come to test your species." The scout ship pulled away from Earth, drifting toward the dark side of the moon, and as it vanished from visual range, the final words echoed through the room, "Prepare your world." After the harvester scout disappeared behind the moon, Earth Command fell into a silence so deep it felt like the air itself had frozen. People stared at each other. No one dared to breathe. But Commander Ryan Hale couldn't stay still. Something inside him was burning, a mix of fear, anger, and a strange determination. General Marcus finally spoke, breaking the silence. "Everyone meet in the war room now." The room emptied quickly, leaving only Ryan, Threa, and Xeron. Threa approached Ryan with gentle steps, her blue eyes worried. "Commander, the harvesters never choose someone without reason. You must understand the history to understand your danger." Ryan frowned. "Then tell me the history, everything." Xeron hesitated. His long, dark robe trembled slightly as if he feared speaking the next words. "History of the harvesters is forbidden in our cultures." Ryan stepped closer. "Not anymore. Earth is already involved." Threa exchanged a glance with Xeron, then nodded slowly. "Very well, you deserve the truth." They walked to a quiet briefing room. The lights dimmed automatically as Threa tapped a control panel. A holographic map of the galaxy appeared, bright clusters of stars and long spiral arms. But many places on the map were black, empty, silent. Ryan's eyes narrowed. "What are those regions?" Xeron answered quietly. "Grave zones, entire star systems erased." Threa expanded one of the black zones. A cluster of stars flickered into view, everyone marked with a red X. "Thousands of years ago," she began, "there were many great civilizations here. Empires bigger than anything humans have seen. They were strong, wise, united." Ryan listened carefully. "Then the harvesters arrived," Xeron continued. "No announcements, no warning, only darkness." Ryan leaned forward. "Why, what do they want?" Threa shook her head. "They don't want land, they don't want resources, they don't want diplomacy." Xeron's voice became cold. "They hunt life because they enjoy it." Ryan stared at the dark zones. "So all those civilizations gone?" Threa nodded. "Erased, their planets stripped to rock, their moons harvested for metal, their people taken." Ryan felt a deep chill. "What do they do with the people?" Xeron closed his eyes. "They study them, they break them, they use them to learn the weaknesses of future targets." Ryan clenched his fists. "So we're just entertainment to them." Threa looked at him sadly. "To them, all species are prey. But humans are different." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "Different how?" Xeron hesitated, then spoke. "Because you grow fast, too fast, and you resist. Even now you refuse to bow or flee." Ryan shrugged. "Humans don't run from monsters." Threa sighed. "That is why they find you interesting." Ryan looked confused. "Interesting? Dangerous prey is the most fun to hunt," Xeron whispered. A long silence followed. Then Ryan asked the question no one wanted to hear. "How long until the main harvester fleet arrives?" Threa's face paled. "We do not know." Xeron added, "But when the scout chooses a world, the fleet usually follows within months." Ryan exhaled slowly. Months. Earth had months, or maybe less, before the conversation could continue. An alarm echoed through the building. "Alert. Unknown signal origin. Lunar surface classification. Extreme hostile." Ryan's heartbeat spiked. "From the moon?" he asked. The tech officer's voice came over the intercom, shaking with panic. "Commander, the harvester scout, it's doing something on the moon." The three of them rushed to the observation deck. A giant holographic display showed the dark side of the moon. At first, Ryan saw nothing unusual, just a barren, silent landscape. Then the image zoomed in and Ryan's breath caught. The Harvester scout ship was not just hiding, it was building something. Huge mechanical tendrils extended from the ship. Machines crawled across the lunar surface like metal insects. Giant circular structures were forming, dark, sharp, and unnaturally symmetrical. "What is that?" Ryan whispered. Threya's voice shook. "A gate." Ryan turned sharply. "A gate for what?" Xeron swallowed hard. "For the rest of them." Ryan stepped back in shock. "So they're not coming from deep space, they're coming through the moon?" Threya nodded. "Harvesters travel with wormhole technology. A scout always builds the entry gate. Once it is complete, their war fleets pour out." Ryan stared at the moon, feeling the weight of the galaxy crushing him. A monster wasn't coming from far away. A doorway for monsters was being built right next to Earth. General Marcus stormed into the room, furious and panicked. "We're mobilizing the lunar defense fleet. We're blasting that structure to dust." "No," Xeron shouted. "You cannot attack." Ryan turned to the ambassadors. "Why not? If we destroy it now, the fleet can't come." Threya looked at him with deep sorrow. "Because if you destroy the gate, they will build another, and they will choose a method far more violent." Xeron nodded. "The scout is testing your restraint. Destroy it now. And the harvesters will send a cleansing fleet instead of a regular one." Ryan frowned. "What's a cleansing fleet?" Threya whispered. "Planet killers." Ryan's chest tightened. "So if we fight now, Earth dies. If we wait, Earth dies slower." No one spoke. Humanity had been pushed into a game they did not understand and could not win by normal rules. Ryan stared at the moon. He felt anger rising in his chest. Not panic, not fear, anger. "No," he said quietly. "We are humans. We don't follow the rules of monsters. We make our own." Xeron looked confused. "What are you planning, Commander?" Ryan stared at the moon, eyes burning with new fire. "We're going to stop them," he said, "but not by playing their game." Threya whispered. "Then how?" Ryan turned to them with something they've never seen before. He didn't know what the plan was yet, but he knew one thing: humans didn't survive because they were strong or fast or ancient. Humans survived because they were unpredictable, and unpredictability was something the harvesters had never faced. The moon was no longer a quiet gray rock. It had become the construction site of a monster. Earth watched helplessly through telescopes and satellites as the Harvester scout ship continued building the gate. Metal tendrils spread across the lunar surface like roots of a growing nightmare. Circular rings rotated slowly, glowing with a strange red light. Humanity had never felt so small, but Commander Ryan Hale refused to feel powerless. He stood inside the war planning chamber, surrounded by holograms of Earth's fleet defense grids and the strange Harvester gate. Generals argued loudly around him. "We attack now before the gate finishes." "We cannot. The aliens said that will trigger a cleansing fleet." "Then what do we do? Sit and die?" The room was chaos, but Ryan noticed something the others didn't. While everyone looked at the gate, Ryan looked at the shadows around it. He pointed at the hologram. "Zoom in that area there." The image magnified. Everyone leaned forward. Machines crawled across the moon's surface, but some were moving differently, slow, shaky, almost broken. Ryan narrowed his eyes. "There, they malfunction." "Why?" Threya studied the footage. "Those machines are not built for low gravity. The moon's environment is harming their stability." Ryan felt a spark of hope. "So their tech isn't perfect?" Xeron nodded slowly. "No species is perfect, not even them." General Marcus grabbed onto the idea. "Then we can exploit that weakness." But Threya shook her head. "Not with direct force. If the scout ship feels threatened, it will call the fleet instantly." Ryan paced slowly, thinking. "No direct attack, no explosions, no weapons, so we need something subtle, something invisible." He looked up sharply. "A stealth mission." The room fell silent. General Marcus folded his arms. "A stealth mission on the moon under the nose of the most deadly species alive." Ryan nodded. "Yes." Threya looked horrified. "That is suicide." Ryan shook his head. "It's humanity's only chance." Xeron stepped closer. "What will the mission do?" Ryan turned to the hologram of the gate. "We don't destroy it. We don't attack it. We slow it down." Everyone stared. Ryan explained. "Harvesters expect us to react with fear or violence, but they don't expect sabotage. If we delay construction little by little, we buy time." General Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Time for what?" Ryan replied. "To prepare Earth, to unite the species, to build a defense that even harvesters won't expect." The idea spread across the room like fire. A subtle plan, a human plan, one that didn't follow harvester logic. Marcus straightened. "All right, who leads the mission?" Ryan answered without hesitation. "I do." Threya stared at him with concern. "You are the harvester's chosen target. If they sense you near the gate." Ryan cut her off. "They won't." Xeron studied him carefully. "You're risking everything." Ryan looked at the moon, jaw tight. "My life means nothing if Earth burns." Marcus nodded. "Then we assemble a team, only the best." But before Ryan could respond, the alarms blared again. "Alert! Activity on the moon. Harvester scout is moving." Everyone rushed to the observation screen. What they saw made their blood run cold. The Harvester scout wasn't continuing the gate. It was descending, slowly, dangerously, toward the Earth-facing side of the moon. General Marcus whispered, "What is it doing?" Ryan's eyes widened. "It's scouting the homeworld." Xeron's voice trembled. "Harvesters always study prey's planet before invasion. They observe how you live, how you panic, how you die. Threya added softly, they enjoy the fear. Marcus clenched his fists. I swear I'll, but Ryan raised a hand. Don't react, don't attack, not yet. The Harvester Scout moved like a giant shadow sliding across the moon's horizon. It stopped above a large crater, then something unbelievable happened. The ship's entire surface shifted, opening like a giant metal flower. Inside, a glowing red sphere pulsed. Massive. Alive, Threya gasped. That is a mind core. Ryan frowned. What's a mind core? Xeron explained in a terrified whisper. A Harvester mind core is their intelligence, their memory, their command. When a mind core opens, it is listening. Ryan stared at the glowing sphere. It's listening for what? Threya looked at him slowly. For you. The room froze. Ryan stepped closer to the screen. Me. Xeron nodded. You survived their test at Station 9. They marked you. Now the mind core wants to speak with you directly. Ryan felt chills up his spine. The speakers in the command center crackled. Everyone turned. A dark voice filled the room, deeper than anything before, colder than space. Human. Ryan's body stiffened. You hide behind your world. The voice vibrated the walls. But we smell your fear. Everyone stared at Ryan. The voice continued. Come to the moon, Ryan Hale. Come alone. Ryan's heart dropped. Or your species dies sooner. The transmission ended. Silence swallowed the room. General Marcus stepped forward aggressively. You're not going, that's an order. Ryan didn't answer. Threya whispered in fear. Ryan, this is a trap, a cruel one. Ryan stared at the moon, feeling something strange, familiar, the same feeling he had inside Station 9, but now it was stronger. He turned to the council. I have to meet it. Marcus yelled. No, you don't. Ryan faced him calmly. If I don't go, they'll come here. If I do go, maybe we buy time. Xeron stepped forward. You won't come back. Ryan looked him in the eyes. Then I'll die buying Earth a future. The room fell silent. Marcus finally spoke, his voice low. You really are human to the core, insane courage. Ryan looked at the moon again, the glowing red sphere pulsing like a heartbeat. Prepare the stealth shuttle, he said quietly. I'm going to meet the monster. Earth Command didn't sleep that night. No one did. News spread like wildfire. Commander Ryan Hale was going to the moon alone to face the Harvester Mind Core. Some people cried, some people prayed, some called him insane, others called him a hero. Ryan didn't listen to any of it. He stood inside the hangar, staring at the stealth shuttle that would carry him into the jaws of the most deadly species in the galaxy. The shuttle was small and covered in reflective plating that bent radar signals away, a perfect ghost ship. General Marcus approached him, arms crossed. You really think you can reason with that thing? Ryan took a slow breath. I'm not going there to reason, I'm going to learn. Marcus frowned. Learn what? Ryan looked at the moon through the glass window. Its surface glowed faintly under the sunlight, but on the dark side there was a pulsing red light. Why they chose us, Ryan said. And how to stop them? Marcus sighed. You know this is suicide. Ryan gave a half smile. Maybe, but it's better than letting Earth die. Before Marcus could respond, Threya and Xeron entered the hangar. Threya handed Ryan a small silver device. I made this for you. It's a translator shield. It might reduce the psychic effects of a mind core. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Psychic effects? Xeron nodded. Yes, a Harvester mind core can reach into your mind. Twist your thoughts, break you from the inside. Threya added quietly, it will try to control you, Ryan, or at least learn your deepest fears. Ryan slipped the device into his suit. I appreciate the warning. Xeron stepped closer. If the mind core speaks inside your head, do not answer with fear, they feed on it. Ryan nodded. I understand, but deep inside he wasn't sure he did. The journey begins. Ryan entered the shuttle, the door sealed behind him. The engines hummed softly, silent enough to hide from Harvester sensors. Control screens lit up. Stealth systems online, radar bent, thermal signature reduced. Everything was ready. General Marcus's voice came through the speaker. Good luck, Commander. For what it's worth, humanity stands behind you. Ryan nodded silently and launched the shuttle. The small craft shot into the sky, passing through clouds and breaking into the dark vacuum of space. Below him, Earth glowed blue and beautiful. Above him, the moon loomed in cold silence. As he approached, he saw the Harvester Gate again, huge, twisted, alive, and beside it the Mind Core, a glowing red sphere the size of a stadium, pulsing, breathing, waiting. Ryan felt the first touch of fear. Inside his helmet, his breath quickened, and then a voice crawled into his mind, not through speakers, not through radio, directly into his thoughts. You came. Ryan stiffened. The translator shield buzzed, reducing the psychic impact, but the voice still felt like claws scratching inside his skull. He whispered to himself, stay calm, don't show fear. The voice responded instantly, you try to hide it, how amusing. Ryan clenched his jaw. He didn't speak aloud, but the voice heard him anyway. Your fear tastes new, we like new. Ryan closed his eyes for a moment. Focus, he told himself. Remember why you're here. He brought the shuttle down gently, landing inside a crater near the Mind Core. The ground shook with each pulse of the huge red sphere. Ryan stepped out. The moon's silence was crushing. No wind, no noise, just the beating heart of a monster. The Mind Core rotated slowly to face him. A wave of psychic pressure hit him like 1,000 whispers pressed into his skull. His knees bent, his vision blurred, but the translator shield softened the attack. Ryan stood firm. The Mind Core's voice returned, louder, deeper. You survived again, interesting. Ryan forced himself to speak aloud. What do you want from Earth? The Mind Core responded instantly. Everything. Ryan swallowed. We don't want war. The Mind Core pulsed brighter. Then why did you send your challenge? Ryan shook his head. It wasn't a challenge, it was a probe, a peaceful message. The core grew darker, slowly, warningly. Lies. Ryan stepped forward. We didn't even know you existed. The ground trembled violently. Ignorance is no excuse. A prey that trespasses into the hunter's den must suffer. Ryan felt anger rising in his chest. We aren't prey. This time the Mind Core laughed, a horrifying metallic sound. All species say that before they scream. Ryan tightened his fists. Why do you do this? Why hunt everyone? The core shifted. Because it is the natural order. Strong consumes weak. Hunter consumes prey. Life exists to be harvested. Ryan shook his head. That's not life, that's cruelty. The Mind Core pulsed sharply like it was offended. Cruelty, you speak of morals. Your species destroys its own world, kills its own children, wastes its potential. Ryan froze. How do you know that? We see your memories, your failures, your wars, your fears. Ryan felt a sharp pain. The Mind Core was pushing deeper into his thoughts, into his past. He gritted his teeth. Get out of my head. The core's voice became silkier. We only taste what you offer. Your guilt is delicious. Ryan stepped back, breath shaking. The Mind Core changed tone. But you are different. Ryan blinked. Different how? The core rotated closer. You do not break easily. Your mind fights. You resist even against fear. Ryan felt a spark of hope. So that's why you chose me. Yes, you interest us. You are unpredictable. Ryan realized something terrifying. Harvesters did not understand humans, not truly. They knew fear, but not anger, not hope, not defiance. Ryan straightened his back. Maybe that's why you fear us. The ground shook violently. The Mind Core pulsed with rage. We fear nothing. Ryan smiled bitterly. You fear what you don't understand. The core screamed inside his head, a blast of psychic force that nearly knocked him unconscious. But Ryan didn't fall. He stayed standing. That moment, that single second, sent a shock through the Mind Core because for the first time in its long existence, a prey did not kneel. The core's voice returned slower. You are dangerous for prey. Ryan stepped even closer. We are not prey, we are humans, and we adapt and we fight. The core grew darker. Then you will die last. Ryan whispered, at least we'll make you bleed first. Silence. Then the core spoke again. Leave now, Ryan Hale. Tell your world the great harvest begins soon. The ground cracked, the gate glowed, the Mind Core folded back into its metal shell like a monster resting. Ryan turned away slowly. He had survived. He had spoken to the enemy. He had learned one vital truth: humans were not predictable, and harvesters had no idea what humanity could become. Ryan walked back to the shuttle. The war hadn't started yet, but now, humanity finally knew the enemy. And the enemy finally knew humanity. Commander Ryan Hale's shuttle lifted from the moon's surface in silence. Behind him, the Harvester Mind Core folded into its dark metal shell like a monster returning to sleep. But Ryan knew the truth. It wasn't sleeping, it was waiting. The journey back to Earth felt much longer than the trip to the moon. The darkness around him felt heavier now, as if the stars themselves understood what was coming. Inside the shuttle, Ryan replayed the encounter in his mind, the voices, the psychic attack, the revelation. Humans scared the harvesters, not because they were strong, but because they were impossible to predict. Ryan whispered to himself, they don't understand us, and that's our only advantage. Returning to Earth when the shuttle docked at Earth Command, hundreds of soldiers, officers, and scientists rushed forward, not cheering, but staring in stunned silence. Ryan stepped out slowly, each movement painful. His mind felt bruised. General Marcus rushed to him. Commander, report. What did you learn? Ryan looked up at the general, his eyes darker than before. They are coming. Everyone stiffened. Threya stepped closer. Ryan, did you speak to the Mind Core? Ryan nodded. It spoke inside my head. It showed me what they think of us. Xeron swallowed. And what do they think? Ryan answered in a low voice. That we're prey, but prey that fights back. Marcus frowned. Did you learn anything useful? Weaknesses, vulnerabilities? Ryan shook his head. Not yet, but I learned something more important. Everyone leaned in. Ryan continued. They don't understand humans, not our logic, not our instincts, not our anger, not our hope. He looked at the hologram of the moon, a red glow pulsing like a heartbeat. They've studied every species they've hunted, but humans were new to them, unknown, unpredictable. Threya looked hopeful for the first time. That means you confused them. Ryan nodded, and confusion is fear. Xeron whispered, this has never happened before, a prey species making a Mind Core hesitate. Marcus smirked, so maybe we have a chance. But Ryan stepped forward, voice firm, we don't have a chance yet, but we have a direction. He projected the map of the gate onto the main screen. The gate is almost complete. When it opens, the fleet pours through. Scientists murmured nervously, we have weeks at most. Maybe days. Ryan raised a hand. But we also know something else. The scouting machines malfunction on moon terrain. Marcus's eyes widened. So we sabotage the gate, slow it down. Ryan shook his head. No, something bigger. He zoomed in on the gate diagram. When the harvester fleet arrives, they expect an easy kill. They expect humans to panic. They expect fear. He looked around the room. But what if instead of fear, we show them something they've never seen before? Threya tilted her head. What is that? Ryan answered with a cold smile. Unity. Xeron blinked. Unity. Ryan nodded slowly. Harvesters never faced a world that fights together, not separate nations, not separate armies, one planet, one species, humanity as a single fist. The room fell silent. Marcus looked almost shocked. You're suggesting global unification, full militarization. Ryan nodded firmly. Yes, every country, every base, every colony, every mind. Threya whispered, they will not expect that. Ryan stared at the moon again. They expect chaos. Instead, we give them strategy. They expect weakness. Instead, we give them fire. Ryan tapped the hologram of the gate, and when they come through that gate, they won't meet prey. He lowered his voice, full of steel. They'll meet humans. Sudden alarm, a new threat suddenly. Alarms in Earth Command screamed. Alert, unidentified object leaving moon surface speed, extreme vector, Earth. Everyone turned toward the main screen. A small object launched from the harvester gate, small, fast, and burning with red energy. What is that? Marcus yelled. Xeron's face went pale. A seed, Threya gasped. Oh no, not a seed, not now. Ryan grabbed Threya's arm. What is a seed? Threya spoke with shaking breath. A harvester seed is not a weapon. It is worse, much worse. Ryan's heart pounded. Explain. Xeron closed his eyes. It lands on a planet and begins changing it. Ryan's voice hardened. Changing it how? Threya answered slowly. A seed spreads like infection. It grows metal roots, consumes oxygen, rewrites biology, turns everything into harvester matter. Ryan felt his blood freeze. A planet killer. Threya nodded. A slow one, a cruel one. They're testing Earth. Marcus slammed his fist. Down, tech officers panicked. We can't lock onto it. It's too fast. It's jamming sensors. Ryan looked at the red streak cutting toward Earth. In seconds it would hit atmosphere. He whispered, this is the first strike. Threya looked at him with fear. If the seed reaches the surface, Earth is doomed. Ryan looked at Marcus. No time for committee, no time for plans. He took a deep breath. Prepare the orbital defense cannon. Marcus blinked. The cannon is experiment. It's unstable. Ryan cut him off. If that seed hits Earth, we lose the planet. If the cannon explodes, we lose a weapon. Marcus gritted his teeth. Fire it. The first human counterattacked. The orbital cannon charged. Energy built up. The entire station shook. Tech officer shouted. Target locked. Firing now. A giant blue beam shot from Earth's orbit, a straight lance of light. It collided with the seed mid-space. A blinding explosion ripped across the sky. Everyone held their breath. Smoke cleared. The seed was still coming, burning, damaged, but intact. It roared through the atmosphere like a falling star. Ryan shouted, impact zone. Tech officer screamed, sir, it's heading for North Africa region, high population. Ryan's face went white. Evacuate the zone now. Marcus turned to the officers. Move, move. The final seconds the seed dropped lower. Its red glow spread like bloody light across clouds. Ryan watched the screen, breath tight. His mind flashed back to the Mind Core's last words, you will die last. Then boom, the seed slammed into Earth. A shockwave of red energy rippled across the land. People screamed, cities shook, oceans trembled, and where the seed landed, something began to grow, something metallic, something alive, something harvester. Ryan whispered in terror, they've started changing Earth. General Marcus clenched his fists. This is war. Ryan stared at the expanding red infection on the ground. No, he whispered, this is just the beginning. He looked up at the moon, at the gate, at the pulsing red glow, and for the first time in human history, Commander Ryan Hale understood Earth was no longer preparing for war. Earth was in the war. The twin moons of Kethora hung silently in the night sky as the alarms echoed through the entire empire. Citizens peered through windows, soldiers ran to stations, and commanders prepared for a fight they did not understand. Above them, in the cold darkness of space, two enormous fleets now faced each other, the legendary human fleet, and behind it, something far worse. The scanners called it the Second Fleet, but that name didn't capture the terror it brought. Its ships were sharp, jagged, and twisted as if they were carved from black stone and living metal. Their hulls pulsed with sickly red light like beating hearts. Their engines hissed with shadows instead of fire. These were not normal ships. They looked alive. They looked hungry. The moment the alien operators saw them, their blood turned cold. Commander Thalos stood near his console, eyes frozen on the hologram. What are those things?" he whispered. Rallian swallowed hard. "I don't know, but they are not like any species we know." The fleets remained still for a moment, like two predators studying each other before the kill, and then, without warning, the darkness moved first. The first strike, a surge of crimson energy burst from the enemy fleet. Dozens of dark ships launched forward, moving at impossible speed. Their engines screamed like metal tearing. Rallian watched in horror. "Commander, they're going straight for the humans." Chancellor Servin clenched his fists. "Why are the humans not responding? Why are they silent?" Thalos pointed to the human battleship in the center. "They are charging something." The largest human ship, long, silver, and ancient, started glowing. Blue lines crawled across its surface, lighting up the hull like veins. The ship's engines brightened into massive spheres of light. And then boom, a shockwave rippled across space so powerful that Kethora's satellites wobbled. The human battleship moved. No, moved was too simple. It vanished from one position and reappeared directly in front of the attacking enemy ships as if space had folded around it. Vraxion gasped, "Teleportation? No species has technology like that." The Chancellor stared, but the legends say humans could bend space. The human ship fired first. A blast of bright white energy erupted from its front cannon, clean, sharp, and silent. The beam sliced through the first wave of enemy ships. They didn't explode, they simply disappeared, erased from existence. The council chamber trembled with gasps. Vraxion whispered, They destroyed 10 ships in one shot." Thalos nodded slowly. "The humans are not here to talk." The darkness strikes back, but the Dark Fleet did not retreat. Instead, it roared. A deep vibration spread across the scanners. Every operator felt it in their bones. The enemy ships shifted shape, spikes grew longer, engines burned brighter. And then the darkness fired. Red lightning exploded from their weapons, twisting unnaturally. The beams split into smaller beams, chasing the human ships like hunting animals. One human cruiser tried to dodge, but the red lightning curved after it. It struck. The cruiser's shields burst like glass. A huge hole was ripped into its side. Vraxion jumped up. They hit one of the humans. Thalos clenched his jaw. This enemy, they track energy signatures. The more the ship moves, the faster the lightning follows. The human cruiser drifted, heavily damaged. Then another blast of red lightning struck it. This time it broke apart, exploding into thousands of fragments that drifted like glowing dust. Everyone in the chamber fell silent. A human ship he destroyed. If humans were the legends, then what kind of monsters could kill their ships? The battle explodes. The battlefield erupted into chaos. Human ships formed new lines, moving with perfect discipline. Their engines flashed blue, leaving trails of light. They fired beam cannons, rail shots, and energy torpedoes. Each shot was precise, silent, beautiful, but the Dark Fleet did not fight like machines. It fought like beasts. They swarmed, they twisted, they howled through space, their weapons screaming. Two fleets danced between explosions and shadows, turning the sky into a storm of fire. Kethora's scientists watched the monitors in shock. One scientist said, "The dark ships are absorbing energy weapons. Every time the humans hit them, they become stronger." Another answered, "But human weapons are still too powerful. They burn through the armor." Chancellor Servin gripped the railing tightly. "We must help the humans, prepare our navy." Thalos stared at him. "Chancellor, our navy will be destroyed in seconds." Servin looked at the screen at the burning sky. "I know, but we cannot just sit and watch. If the humans fall, we fall next." The human commander speaks suddenly. A new voice filled every screen in the defense tower. A deep, calm human voice. Kethorian translators activated automatically. "This is Commander Eric Valos of the Human Expeditionary Fleet. Kethora, stay back. This enemy feeds on fear and aggression. Do not engage. We will hold them." His voice was steady, too steady for the chaos outside. Servin stepped toward the screen. "Human Commander, who is this enemy?" Eric answered instantly. "They are called the Vraxion Swarm. Living warships born from a dead star. They destroy entire civilizations. We fought them long ago. We thought they died." His voice darkened. "They did not." Vraxion felt chills run down his spine. Thalos spoke loudly. "Commander Eric, why have you returned now?" Eric answered, "We sensed the swarm's return. We followed them here. Kethora is only their first target. Your galaxy is in danger." Everyone stared at the screen. Vraxion whispered, "They didn't come to conquer. They came to save us." The turning point, the battle intensified. A Vraxion ship twice the size of a human cruiser rammed straight into the human front line. Its claws tore into two ships, dragging them into its glowing core. They vanished inside like swallowed prey. Chancellor Servin shouted, "They are eating the ships." Vraxion covered his mouth in horror. "These things, they are alive. They hunt." Human ships counterattacked, firing heavy torpedoes. 3 torpedoes struck the beast ship. Boom, boom, boom. The creature ship shrieked, its metal skin peeling away. It exploded into black fire. But before the humans could celebrate, 20 more Vraxion ships moved forward, replacing the fallen one. Vraxion trembled. "There are too many." Thalos forced himself to stay calm. "No, look, the human flagship, the massive silver dreadnought, was changing." Panels slid open across its surface. Circular rings rotated. Energy walls formed around it, glowing bright blue. Vraxion whispered, What is that?" Thalos answered, "A superweapon." The dreadnought's front cannon charged again, this time brighter, louder, stronger. A deep hum grew, vibrating through the scanners, through the planet. Everyone held their breath. Then a colossal beam erupted, stretching across space like a blue sunburst. The light blinded the cameras. The shockwave shook every building on Kethora. When the light faded, dozens of Vraxion ships were gone, erased, burned out of existence. Vraxion stared at the screen, unable to speak. Thalos whispered, "The humans are truly legends." But it wasn't over. The remaining Vraxion ships shrieked in rage. Their bodies warped, twisted, reshaped. They merged into each other, forming one massive ship, bigger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Chancellor Servin stumbled backward. How do we fight that?" Eric Valos' voice returned. "Kethora, brace yourselves." The monster, the new creature ship, opened its mouth, an endless dark tunnel. Red storms gathered inside it. Lightning arced across its body. Vraxion yelled, "Commander, it's charging a planet-killer blast." Thalos's eyes widened. If that hits Kethora, we're finished. The humans moved instantly. 5 human destroyers formed a shield wall. Their engines roared, their cannons glowed, the monster fired. A red beam burst forth. Wide as a mountain, the destroyers took the hit head-on. Their shields sizzled, cracked, shattered. One by one they exploded. The beam continued toward Kethora until a blue wall of energy rose in front of the planet. The human flagship had activated its Aegis barrier. Vraxion gasped, tears forming. "They're protecting us." The beam faded. The monster roared again. Commander Eric's voice shouted, "All human ships, focus fire on the Titan." The human fleet unleashed everything: torpedoes, cannons, light spears. The monster shrieked under the assault, but it was not dying, it was adapting. Its armor changed, its skin hardened, its roar shook space. Vraxion whispered, "This enemy is unstoppable." Thalos shook his head. "No, the humans will find a way." The human commander's final words. The human flagship began charging again, its superweapon glowing brighter than ever. Commander Eric Valos spoke one last time. "Kethora, what happens next will decide your future." The beam grew. "Stand strong." The monster screamed, "Humanity has returned." The superweapon fired, everything turned white, the universe turned pure white. For several long seconds neither the humans nor the Kethorians could see anything, not the sky, not the stars, not even the darkness that had haunted them minutes before. Only silence, only blinding light. Inside the great defense tower, Vraxion shielded his eyes, heart pounding fast. "Did the humans destroy it?" he whispered, but Commander Thalos did not answer. He stared at the shaking monitors, waiting for the readings to return. The entire chamber held its breath. Slowly, the white glow faded, the stars returned, the battlefield returned, and with it the truth. Vraxion gasped so sharply he nearly stopped breathing. "No, no, it's still alive. The Titan survives." The Vraxion monster still floated in space. Damaged, yes. Burning, yes, but dead, not even close. Chancellor Servin stepped back, eyes wide with terror. It survived a human superweapon. That blast could vaporize moons. The monster's armor steamed with cracks, its inner core glowed an angry red, but slowly, horrifyingly, the wounds began to close. It was healing. Thalos whispered, "This creature, it evolves, it learns, it adapts." Vralion's voice shook. "If it can survive that, what chance do we have?" Suddenly a shrill scream erupted across space, vibrating through every scanner and speaker. Kethorians fell to their knees, covering their ears. Even machinery glitched from the sonic shock. The monster was calling, summoning something, and the darkness answered. Reinforcements from the void. A ripple tore through space like a black wave. Dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of small Vraxion drones poured through the ripple. They were shaped like metallic insects, sharp wings, glowing red eyes, and serrated bodies. Vraxion felt sweat drip down his back. "There are so many, more than the scanners can count." Thalos stood frozen. "I had hoped the legends were wrong, but they were right. The Vraxion truly are a swarm." Chancellor Servin shouted, "Can the humans handle all this?" The human commander's voice returned, but this time it was strained. "This is worse than we expected. The Titan is stronger than the old war records, and the swarm has multiplied." Static crackled in his message. "We will fight, but humanity cannot hold this alone." Vraxion stared at Thalos. "Does that mean they need us?" Thalos nodded slowly. "For the first time in our history, we must fight beside the humans." The human fleet charges. The human dreadnought glowed once more, but this time not for a cannon shot. Its hull reshaped, absorbing light, focusing energy. It was preparing something else. Human destroyers moved in coordinated formations, carving paths through the insect-like swarm. Blue beams cut across the sky. Odd torpedoes detonated silently, sending shockwaves that shattered dozens of Vraxion drones. But no matter how many drones died, more replaced them. For every 10 destroyed, 30 appeared. For every 100 lost, 300 emerged. The swarm thickened around the human fleet like a cloud of metal locusts. One human cruiser fell behind, its engines failing. The swarm tore into it instantly, breaking through its hull, eating the metal like hungry beasts. The ship exploded, scattering glowing fragments. Vraxion flinched. "They're overwhelming the humans." Thalos slammed his fist onto the console. "This cannot continue. The humans will fall if we do nothing." The Kethorian dilemma. Chancellor Servin faced a choice he never imagined making. His people had feared humans for thousands of years, called them monsters, legends, threats. Now those same humans were dying to protect Kethora. Servin looked around the chamber. Generals, scientists, and advisors all stared at him. He took a deep breath. "Kethora will not watch and hide. Signal our fleet." Vraxion blurted out, "Sir, our ships can't survive against the swarm." Servin nodded, eyes hard. "I know, but we cannot stand behind our walls while others fight for us. Even if we fall, we will fall with honor." Thalos stepped beside him, placing a hand on his chest. "The humans will remember this." Servin whispered, "I hope they do." The Kethorian fleet enters the battle. Hundreds of Kethorian ships launched from their hangars. Their engines glowed blue. Their shields shimmered, their cannons charged. Commander Thalos opened the comms. "All ships defend the human flank. Give them breathing room. Follow my lead." The Kethorian fleet soared into the sky like a wave of silver arrows. They entered the battlefield and were instantly swarmed. Drones slammed into them like angry hornets. Red electricity crackled across their shields. Cannons fired. Explosions lit the void. Vraxion watched with shaky breath. Are we actually doing it? Fighting beside humans? Thalos gave a sharp nod. If we don't, there will be no Kethora left to save. The Kethorian ships fought bravely, far braver than the humans expected. They formed walls, clusters, and spirals, shooting into the swarm, carving small safe zones for the humans. For a small moment, it worked. The humans broke free from the outer swarm, regrouping into a powerful formation. Commander Eric Vallo's voice returned. Kethora, thank you. Humanity's second weapon with the swarm thinned near their flank, the human dreadnought finally completed its transformation. Its hull opened like a blooming flower, revealing a rotating core of pure white light. Vraxion blinked. What is that? Thalos whispered. I've heard stories the humans called this weapon the Starheart. The Starheart glowed brighter. Panels around the ship began spinning. The light grew so powerful that even the planet's surface lit up. Chancellor Servin shielded his eyes. What does it do? Thalos answered quietly. It burns everything except human technology. Vraxion gasped. So it can kill the swarm but not their own ships. Yes, a perfect weapon. No weapon is perfect, Thalos murmured. It always has a cost. The Starheart fired. A sphere of white light expanded outward, slow, silent, and beautiful. When it touched the swarm, the Vraxion drones evaporated instantly, turning into ash. Hundreds vanished, then thousands, then tens of thousands. A massive ring of pure destruction spread in all directions. Kethorian ships screamed warnings. Don't let IT touch you. Pull back, the wave is coming. Human ships adjusted, but Kethorian ships struggled. Their engines were too slow, their shields too weak. One Kethorian cruiser couldn't escape in time. The Starheart touched it. The shields burst. The hull cracked. The ship dissolved into dust. Vralion's eyes filled with tears. We're losing ships to the human's weapon. Thalos clenched his teeth. I told you every weapon has a price. The Titan reacts. The monster Titan, still healing, felt the Starheart's heat. Its body twisted and screeched. When the wave hit its armor, the Titan burned but did not shatter. Instead, it changed. Its skin hardened further. It grew spines. Its mouth expanded. Vraxion gasped. It evolved again. Thalos shook his head in disbelief. This creature, it was made to fight humans. The Titan reared backward and unleashed another sound scream. The wave of drones stopped spawning. Space grew darker. Then the Titan opened its mouth. A black hole began forming inside. Chancellor Servin trembled. What is that thing doing? Thalos's face turned pale. It is pulling energy. It is preparing a gravity weapon strong enough to crush a planet. Vralion's voice cracked. If that hits us, Kethora is gone. Human's final command, Commander Eric Vallos's voice came through the speakers again. But this time, his voice was not calm. It carried urgency, fear, finality. Kethora, listen carefully. The chamber fell silent. We can stop the Titan's gravity attack, but only if we sacrifice the Starheart. Chancellor Servin stepped forward. What will happen to your ship? Eric answered. It will die with the Titan. Vralion's heart broke. You're going to ram it. Yes, Eric replied. The only way to save your world is to end ours. Thalos whispered. This is why humans are legends. Eric continued. Kethora, remember us well. You are not alone in this galaxy. The dreadnought moved forward, slow, steady, unstoppable. The Titan screamed in rage, its gravity core growing larger, pulling everything toward it. The dreadnought accelerated, closer, closer, closer. The human crew did not run, they did not flee. They moved toward the monster that had killed civilizations. Chancellor Servin closed his eyes. May your ancestors guide you. The impact the dreadnought struck the Titan. The entire sky cracked open into pure white. The Titan exploded. Space itself screamed. Kethora trembled. The human dreadnought vanished, burning, breaking, dying. But the Titan's core collapsed in on itself, its gravity weapon imploding before it could fire at the planet. When the light faded, the battlefield was quiet. The Titan was gone, the dreadnought was gone, and silence filled the stars. Vraxion whispered, they saved us and they died for us. Thalos bowed his head. Humans are not legends anymore. The battlefield was silent, not the peaceful kind of silence, the heavy kind, the kind that feels wrong, the kind that hurts your chest, where the human dreadnought once shined like a sun, only broken remains drifted now. Silver shards floated across the void. Dim blue lights flickered, slowly dying. Commander Thalos stood in the defense tower, hands gripping the console until his knuckles turned white. Vraxion sat frozen, staring at the hologram of the battlefield. Chancellor Servin whispered, they are gone, the humans all gone. No one replied. Everyone just listened to the silence left behind. The last transmission, suddenly a faint beeping came from the speakers. Vraxion gasped. A signal. A weak one. Thalos turned sharply. From where? Vraxion adjusted the scanner, fingers shaking. It's coming from the wreckage of the human flagship. Static filled the room, then a broken, fading voice spoke. Thigh is calm our vol s. Vraxion covered his mouth. It's him, Commander Eric Vallos. The entire room leaned closer, listening. We have completed mission. Static again. Thalos swallowed hard. Boost the signal, now. Rallian tried. But the signal was too damaged, too broken. The words came in pieces like a dying flame trying to speak one last time. Tid-en is destroyed, Kethora safe, then a final whisper. Remember, humanity will return. The signal faded, never to return. Rallian wiped tears with his sleeve. Commander Thalos stood silently, his eyes lowered. Chancellor Servin closed his eyes and said softly, "May your spirits travel safely, brave humans." But the sky was not done with them yet. The story was not over, not even close. The wound in space. Rallian suddenly blinked at the scanner. Commander, the Titan, its explosion, it left something behind. Thalos frowned. A debris field? No, Rallian whispered. It left a wound. The hologram zoomed in on the spot where the human dreadnought had collided with the Vraxion Titan. Instead of empty space, a swirling black tear hovered there like a crack in the universe. Thin shadows leaked from it. Thalos' eyes widened. "Oh no," Chancellor Servin looked alarmed. "What is that?" Thalos answered slowly. "It is a rift." "A rift," Servin repeated, "a hole between dimensions." Rallian's heart dropped. So the Titan didn't just die, it opened something? "Yes," Thalos whispered, "a doorway." Servin stepped back, horrified. "To what?" Thalos turned toward him, face pale. "To where the Vraxion come from." The silent shapes as the council stared at the rift. The battlefield changed again. The remaining Vraxion drones, damaged, crippled, silent, stopped moving. They drifted toward the rift as if pulled by invisible strings. Then they froze in place. Every drone, every shard, every piece of the Titan, all frozen. Rallian whispered, "It's like the rift is calling to them." Thalos nodded slowly. "Yes, the swarm is connected. They follow one consciousness." Servin frowned. "You mean like a hive?" "No," Thalos said quietly, "like a god." Before anyone could answer, something else moved. The shadows around the rift thickened. Dark shapes twisted inside, large, massive, far bigger than the Titan. Rallian's breathing quickened. "Commander, something is coming, something huge," Thalos whispered. "If the Titan was only a soldier, then what is about to arrive is something far worse." The human survivors. Just when fear reached its peak. Beep. Rallian jumped. A new signal, human IFF code. Thalos spun around. "But the flagship is gone." "It's not from the flagship," Rallian said quickly. "It's from a different location." The hologram updated. A handful of small escape pods drifted from the debris field, shaped like silver capsules, glowing very faintly. Rallian's eyes widened. "Humans survived." Chancellor Servin slammed his fist on the table. "Get rescue ships out there now." Thalos nodded. "Kethorian rescue units, launch immediately." Small Kethorian shuttles sped toward the pods, weaving through cracked metal and broken drones. One shuttle approached a pod and opened its hatch. Inside, a human soldier lay unconscious, suit cracked, face pale but alive. Rallian cheered. They made it. But Thalos did not celebrate. His eyes remained fixed on the rift. "The question is for how long?" Inside the rift, as rescue ships collected the pods, the rift grew bigger. Black lightning arced across space, shadows twisted like tentacles. Then a deep ancient voice echoed through the scanners. Not words, not speech, a feeling, pain, hunger, hatred. Rallian clutched his chest. What was that?" "I felt it in my head." Thalos nodded grimly. "Yes, that is their true leader, the Vraxion Overmind." Chancellor Servin stared at the rift in horror. "That thing, it's coming here." Thalos nodded. "Yes. And if the Titan was powerful enough to kill human dreadnoughts, imagine the creature that commands it." Rallian trembled. "How do we fight something like that?" Thalos looked at the human pods being pulled into Kethorian shuttles. "We don't." Rallian blinked. "What? But we don't fight it alone," Thalos said quietly. Rallian frowned. "What do you mean?" Thalos placed a hand on Rallian's shoulder. "We help the humans survive. We help them rebuild. Because when that Overmind comes, the only species that ever defeated it was them." Rallian nodded slowly. "Humans, the commander lives." One escape pod was larger than the others, dark silver, marked with golden lines. A Kethorian rescue pilot leaned over the controls. "Commander Thalos, we found a commanding officer. His pod is intact but heavily damaged." Thalos leaned closer to the hologram. "Open it carefully." The rescue team's pried open the pod door. And inside was Commander Eric Valos, barely alive, suit torn, blood on his chest, but breathing. Rallian's voice cracked. "He's alive, the commander is alive." Chancellor Servin exhaled in relief. "Bring him to the medical chambers." Quickly, the rescue shuttle rushed back to Kethora with the human commander inside. But the moment they left the battlefield, the rift opened wider. The new threat emerges, space twisted, stars bent, time slowed. From the rift, something enormous began emerging. A shape so large it covered entire constellations. A creature made of living shadow and red fire. Its eyes glowed like dying suns. Rallian shook with fear. "Thalos, that thing is bigger than moons, bigger than planets," Thalos whispered. "That is the Overmind's avatar, not its real body, just its shadow." Chancellor Servin felt his legs tremble. We will all die." Thalos stared at the creature. "Not today." He turned sharply. "Prepare the planetary shield, evacuate the outer colonies, get every civilian into shelters." "And the humans?" Rallian asked. Thalos clenched his jaw. "They may be the key to this war. We protect them at all costs." The Overmind roared, space shook, the next battle was coming, and this time the humans were not ready. Kethora was not ready, no one was ready, but the war had begun. The night skies of Kethora glowed red, not from fire. Not from the twin suns, but from the creature standing at the edge of their star system, the shadow that came through the rift. The Overmind's avatar was enormous, a being made of smoke, living metal, and molten red veins. Its wings stretched wider than the moon. Its eyes were burning holes, staring directly at Kethora. Inside the defense tower, silence ruled. Even the alarm seemed afraid to speak. Commander Thalos stood stiff as stone. Ralion's hands trembled over the consoles. Chancellor Servin could not even breathe properly. Ralion whispered, that thing, it isn't even its real body. Thalos nodded slowly. Yes, that is only a shadow, a projection, a fraction of its power, and it's still this strong, Ralion cried softly. Yes, Thalos answered. The first strike suddenly the creature let out a roar that shook the planet. Windows cracked, mountains trembled, the twin moons shook in their orbit. Ralion clutched his headset. Commander, the Overmind is charging something. The shadow raised one massive claw. Red lightning gathered around it, forming a sphere the size of a city. Thalos shouted, all shields to maximum now. Kethora's planetary shield activated, a bright blue dome covering the entire planet. The creature hurled the red sphere. It hit the shield. Kaboom! The entire planet shook. People fell from buildings. Rocks rolled across streets. The shield flickered violently. Ralion gasped. That was only one strike. If it hits again, it will hit again, Thalos said, and again until the shield breaks. Servin tightened his jaw. Then we must delay it. We must hold the line. Thalos shook his head. Hold the line against that, Chancellor. Our weapons cannot scratch it. Servin looked at him with desperate eyes. Then what do we do? Thalos stared at the medbay camera feed of the recovering humans, and his answer came with heavy weight. We wake the human commander. A human awakens inside the Kethorian medical wing. A group of healers worked around a damaged human body. Commander Eric Valos lay on the table, breathing slow, skin pale, vitals unstable. Human blood stained the sheets. His armor was cracked and melted. A Kethorian doctor leaned over him. His species heals differently. We need to stabilize him quickly. Suddenly, Eric's eyes opened. The doctor stepped back in shock. You're awake, Eric inhaled sharply. How long was I out? You have been unconscious for 30 minutes, the doctor replied. Eric closed his eyes briefly. Too long. He tried to sit up, but pain shot through his body. Commander, please rest. No time, Eric said through clenched teeth. The Overmind has arrived. The doctor froze. It's already here, yes, and if we do nothing, your world will die. The Overmind speaks back on the battlefield. The Overmind's avatar moved again. It lowered its head, staring at the planet as if searching for someone. Then a voice echoed, not through speakers, not through machines, through every mind on the planet. Littlespecies. Ralion screamed and fell from his chair, covering his ears. It's speaking inside my head, make it stop. Chancellor Servin clutched his temples. Thalos bit down, fighting the psychic pressure. Stay strong, do not answer it, the Overmind continued. UHRBORTHELSTHUMNSRETURNTHEIWILLGRNTYOUAQUICKD. Ralion's heart stopped. It wants the humans. Thalos nodded slowly. Yes, the Overmind fears only one species. Servin whispered, humans. Eric's secret. Eric Valos limped into the defense tower, supported by a Kethorian doctor. The entire chamber froze when they saw him. His armor was broken, his face bruised, but his eyes, sharp and bright, were still full of fire. Thalos stepped forward. Commander Valos, you should be resting. No, Eric said. I need to tell you something important. Servin spoke gently. We are honored you are alive. Your ship, your people saved our world. Eric shook his head. No, we bought you time, but we did not save you. Ralion blinked. But you destroyed the Titan. Eric clenched his jaw. The Titan was a hound, a servant. The Overmind is the true enemy. So how do we kill it? Ralion whispered. Eric looked down. You can't. The chamber went silent. Servin's voice trembled. Commander, are you saying our world is doomed? No, Eric said, but we cannot kill the Overmind's avatar with normal weapons. Then what weapon do we need? Thalos asked. Eric looked up slowly. A weapon my ship carried, but your ship is gone. Eric nodded. Yes, but the weapon survived. Everyone froze. What weapon? Servin asked. Eric answered simply, the Codex of Fire. The Codex of Fire. Eric stepped to the hologram and tapped the controls. A new symbol appeared, a glowing cube covered in ancient human runes. Ralion whispered, what is that? Eric spoke softly. A creation from early humanity, older than the human empire, older than your legends, a living archive of human power. Servin frowned. An archive? How can that help us? Eric's eyes darkened. The Codex is more than knowledge. It is a catalyst, a spark. Thalos asked, a spark for what? Eric answered, for summoning the human vanguard. The chamber went dead silent. Servin swallowed. You mean the ancient human warriors, the ones from the myths? Eric nodded slowly. They are real. Rallian gasped. Where are they? Sleeping, hidden, frozen. Eric shook his head. No, the Vanguard exists outside your reality in a dimensional pocket. They come only when called. Servin whispered, and the Codex will call them. Yes. Thalos asked carefully. Where is this Codex now? Eric closed his eyes. In the debris of my ship, still floating among the swarm's remains. A dangerous mission. Thalos' eyes widened. You want us to recover it? Eric nodded. Yes, and we must hurry. If the Overmind finds the Codex first, it will destroy it. Rallian swallowed hard. That would mean no more humans coming to help. Eric turned sharply. That would mean the galaxy will fall. Servin exhaled deeply. Then we must get to it now, immediately. Thalos straightened. I'll gather a strike team, but Eric shook his head. No, I'm leading the mission. Servin frowned. You are wounded. Eric's voice hardened. I am human. We do not hide in beds while others bleed. Thalos met his eyes, then nodded with respect. Very well, I will go with you. Rallian blinked. You're going too. Thalos looked at him. A commander does not send others to die in his place. Rallian swallowed. Then I'm coming too. Servin shouted. No, you're only an operator, Rallian interrupted. I spotted the first human signal. I saw the Vraxion first. I know the scanners better than anyone. He inhaled deeply, and the humans need us. Thalos placed a hand on Rallian's shoulder. Then we go together. Eric nodded. We leave in 5 minutes. The Overmind moves as they prepared to launch. The defense tower shook violently. Alarms screamed. Rallian stared at the scanners. Commander, the Overmind, it's charging another attack. Outside, the Avatar raised both claws. Red storms swirled around them. Space itself bent from the pressure. Thalos whispered, if this one hits, the shield won't hold. Servin shouted, launch the mission now, before it's too late. Eric grabbed his broken helmet and slid it on. Don't worry, he said softly, the Vanguard is coming. The launch the Kethorian strike ship roared out of the hangar. Eric Valos stood at the front. Thalos controlled the ship. Rallian manned the scanners behind them. The Overmind's red energy ball grew larger. Rallian shouted. Go now. The ship blasted into space just as the Overmind hurled its attack, a beam of pure destruction. It hit Kethora's shield. Ka'athum, the shield cracked. Cities shook, mountains split, but the planet survived, barely. Eric watched from the ship's window. We have one chance. Find the Codex and call the Vanguard. Thalos pushed the engines harder. Rallian scanned the debris. It's here somewhere. I'm picking up faint energy. Eric narrowed his eyes. The Codex is alive. It will sense us. Keep searching. And behind them, the Overmind turned its burning eyes toward the small ship flying into the battlefield. It knew what they were hunting, and it would not let them succeed, not without a fight. The Kethorian strike ship raced through the dark battlefield, weaving between broken metal, drifting bodies, and shattered remains of both human and Vraxion ships. The engines growled as Thalos pushed them beyond safe limits. Behind them, the Overmind's avatar grew larger, brighter, angrier. Inside the ship, tension pressed on everyone like a heavy hand. Rallian kept his eyes glued to the scanners. I'm detecting human signals, weak, fading, he swallowed. But the Codex, it's close, very close. Commander Eric Valos stood silently near the cockpit window, one hand gripping the metal wall for balance. His wounds hurt. But his voice remained steady. It will call to you, Eric said. The Codex wants to be found. It knows the danger. Thalos shot him a quick look. A living weapon, not living, Eric replied. Awake, Rallian shivered. The debris field the ship entered the densest part of the wreckage, the exact place where the human dreadnought sacrificed itself. The space around them felt wrong, cold, heavy, whispering. Do you hear that? Rallian whispered. Thalos nodded slowly. Yes. The remains are speaking. Eric's eyes hardened. That's the Overmind's echo. The Titan's death created psychic residue. Ignore it. But it was getting louder. Whispers crawled through the speakers. Givemethehumanyouscanotscapethisgalaxysours. Rallian slammed the mute button. Make it stop. It's inside my head. Eric placed a hand on his shoulder. Breathe. Do not let the Overmind break your mind. The ship continued deeper, then Rallian's scanner beeped rapidly. I found IT. The Codex energy signature is dead ahead. Thalos narrowed his eyes, coordinates locked, preparing to pull it in. Eric tightened the straps on his broken armor. No, we land. Thalos blinked. Land on what? Eric pointed ahead. The dreadnought grave there, floating in the void, was a massive chunk of the destroyed human flagship, half a tower-shaped hull, cracked open and glowing faintly with blue sparks. Rallian exhaled. That's where the Codex is. Thalos lowered the ship carefully and docked it to the broken hull. The interior was dark, cold, and filled with drifting human helmets, loose wires, and fragments of shattered consoles. Blue emergency lights flickered like dying fireflies. Eric stepped out first. The moment his boot touched the wreckage, the ship whispered his name. Eric, Commander, return. Rallian froze. The ship knows you. Eric nodded slowly. All human vessels are grown with memory cores. They remember their commanders. He walked through the ruins with the weight of a man who had just buried family. Bodies floated around them, human bodies, some burned, some frozen, some still clutching weapons. Thalos whispered, I didn't know so many humans died. Eric didn't answer. His silence said everything. The Codex chamber. They reached a small room deep inside the wreckage, a spherical chamber with crystalline walls. At the center of it, floating silently like a trapped star, was the Codex of Fire, a cube made of glowing runes spinning slowly. Heat radiated from it, light pulsed like a heartbeat. Thalos whispered, "Beautiful but dangerous." Vraxion stepped forward nervously. "Commander, what happens now?" Eric approached the Codex slowly. "In this moment, our entire future changes." He placed his hand on the glowing cube. The Codex reacted instantly. The runes lit up. The chamber hummed. Red dust and blue sparks swirled like small galaxies. Then, whoom, a wave of light blasted outward. Vraxion and Thalos shielded their eyes. When the light faded, the Codex had stopped floating. Instead, it was glowing brighter than ever, runes spinning rapidly. Eric took a breath. "It's awake!" A warning from the Codex. Suddenly, the Codex projected a hologram, a woman made of pure white fire, not human flesh but ancient human energy. Her voice echoed through the chamber. "Commander Eric Valos, designation Vanguard Caller." Vraxion blinked. "The Codex is talking." The hologram looked directly at Eric. "Your dreadnought is lost, your crew is gone, your mission is incomplete." Eric bowed his head. "I know." The hologram's voice grew colder. "Overmind approaches. Summoning the Vanguard is possible, but your power alone is not enough." Vraxion frowned. "What does that mean? What power?" The hologram turned toward him. "Kethorian operator, your species carries latent psionic channels." Vraxion blinked. "My species? What?" Thalos stepped forward. "Explain." The hologram spoke calmly. "Kethorians possess dormant psychic pathways. You were never taught to use them, but in the presence of the Codex, they awaken." Vraxion stepped back nervously. "You mean I can use human energy?" "No," the hologram replied. "You must lend your mind. The Codex needs a second anchor, a non-human anchor." Thalos narrowed his eyes. "Why him?" The Codex turned toward Vraxion. "Because he heard the first human signal, because he stood his ground in fear, because he carries a rare frequency." Vraxion froze. I'm just a scanner operator." The Codex spoke gently. "You are more than you believe." The ritual begins. Eric placed both hands on the Codex. The runes glowed hotter. "Vraxion," he said softly, "step forward." I don't know if I can." Eric locked eyes with him. "You can, because you already did something no one else did. You believed the humans were real before any proof." Vraxion swallowed hard. "Okay, I'll try." He placed his trembling hand on the Codex. The cube pulsed. A wave of white fire exploded outward and Vraxion screamed. It's in my head, I can't." Eric grabbed his shoulder. "Breathe, don't fight it, let the Codex connect." Thalos tried to pull Vraxion back, but a force field stopped him. Vralion's eyes turned white, energy surged around him. The Codex spoke. "Connection established. Begin summoning." The Overmind reacts outside. The Overmind felt it. Its massive shadow twisted violently. Its claws dug into space. Its red eyes blazed brighter. "NONOHUMNFIREAWKENING." It reached for the wreckage, ripping apart metal, crushing debris. It knew the Codex was activating. It moved toward them. Faster, faster, faster. The Vanguard call inside the chamber. Eric shouted over the roar of energy. "Vraxion, hold the link." Vraxion screamed. I can't, it's too much." The Codex flashed red. "Mind overload imminent. Stabilization required." Eric clenched his jaw. "Take it from me." He pressed his forehead against the Codex. White fire erupted. Eric's armor cracked. His skin burned. His veins glowed blue. Thalos pounded on the barrier. "Eric, stop, you'll die." Eric shouted. "If I die, the Vanguard comes. If I live, your world dies." Vralion's scream grew louder. "It's too much, I can't hold it." The Codex chanted. Vanguard signal locking. Eric forced more energy in. "Just a little more, Vraxion, stay with me." The Codex put out one final pulse. Vanguard summoned. Vraxion collapsed. Eric collapsed beside him. The chamber went silent. Then boom, a shockwave blasted outward. The Vanguard arrives outside the wreckage, behind the Overmind. A new tier in space opened, but this tier was made of light, not darkness. White fire spilled from it. Then dozens of gigantic silver shapes emerged. Not ships, not drones, warriors, humanoid silhouettes covered in silver armor glowing like miniature stars. Each one carried a weapon shaped from fire itself. Vraxion barely opened his eyes from the floor. What are those?" Eric smiled weakly. "The Vanguard, the first humans, the ancient warriors." Thalos stared in awe. They're like gods." The Codex spoke one last time. "The Vanguard has returned." And outside, the Overmind let out a roar of pure fear. Space itself trembled. The Overmind's shadow, tall as a dying star, twisted in anger. Its molten eyes widened as the white tier behind it grew brighter, brighter, brighter. And then they stepped through, dozens of towering armored figures. Each warrior shined like a burning comet. Their armor was silver and gold. Their eyes glowed white. Their steps left trails of fire in the void. They were not ships. They were not machines. They were the Vanguard, the first humans, the warriors from the oldest human myths. The protectors who vanished long before the human empire ever rose. Vraxion, half-conscious, stared out of the broken dreadnought. They are huge." Thalos nodded in disbelief. "Each one is the size of a dropship. This is beyond anything we ever imagined." Commander Eric Valos, still weak but alive, whispered, "This is humanity's ancient strength. This is what the galaxy forgot." The Overmind's fear. The Overmind's avatar took one trembling step backward. Its red veins pulsed wildly like blood boiling in fear. Shadow waves rippled out from it, distorting stars. For the first time since appearing, it was afraid. The psychic voice echoed through every mind on Kethora. "Nonothelighttnottthelight." Vraxion grabbed his head. "It sounds terrified," Eric nodded. "Because the Vanguard is the only thing the Overmind cannot corrupt." The nearest Vanguard warrior raised a massive flaming spear. Then it spoke. Its voice was ancient, deep, echoing like thunder rolling across mountains. "Overmind, your infection ends here." The Overmind shrieked, and the battle began. The battle of light and shadow. The Vanguard moved first. One warrior hurled its spear. It became a streak of pure white fire. It pierced through 3 Vraxion drones in an instant, then exploded in a wave of light that dissolved their bodies completely. Vraxion gasped. "It kills them instantly. They can't adapt." Eric nodded. "The Vanguard weapons target the Vraxion essence itself. The swarm cannot evolve past purity." Thalos whispered, "So this is why humanity won the first war." But the Overmind was not helpless. With an ear-splitting roar, it unleashed a tidal wave of red lightning straight at the Vanguard line. The blast slammed into the first warrior, Kethora. For a moment, the warrior vanished inside the explosion. Vraxion held his breath. Then the warrior stepped out of the smoke. Armor cracked, but still glowing, it pointed at the Overmind. "Your corruption is weak." The Overmind roared in rage. It opened dozens of shadow mouths. Black beams shot out from every direction. The Vanguard formed a shield wall. Their shields merged into a sphere of fire. The beams struck it. Boom, boom, boom. Space burned red and white. The shield held. Vraxion whispered, "They're holding back a creature bigger than moons." Eric breathed out slowly. "And they're just warming up." A twist in the fight, but something was wrong. Thalos' scanner beeped violently. "Commander, the Overmind's body is changing." The Overmind's avatar grew larger. Its red veins thickened. Its wings spread wider. It was evolving again. Vraxion stared in horror. "It's eating the battlefield debris. Human, Vraxion, everything." Eric clenched his jaw. "Yes, the Overmind grows by consuming mass and energy. The Vanguard must finish this quickly." But the Overmind wasn't done. It began pulling the entire debris field toward itself like a black hole of shadows. Huge metal chunks spun around it, then got absorbed into its monstrous form. The Overmind grew twice as large, 3 times. Its roar shook the stars. "YOUCANNOTWINTHISGALXYISMINE," Vraxion screamed. "It's getting too strong. Nothing can stop it." Eric didn't answer. He knew something he hadn't told them yet. The Vanguard secret. The Vanguard leader lifted its flaming blade. "Ascend, formation Epsilon." The warriors crossed their weapons. A white circle formed beneath them. Flames climbed upward. Eric breathed sharply. "No, not that." Thalos frowned. "What is it?" Eric's voice grew tight. "The Vanguard is preparing the Epsilon surge." Vraxion blinked. "What is that?" Eric swallowed. "A suicide strike." Thalos froze. "They're going to sacrifice themselves." Eric nodded. "The Overmind cannot be killed, but its avatar can be destroyed if the Vanguard compress all their energy into one point." Vraxion shouted, "Then they'll die, all of them." Eric closed his eyes. "They already died once. They were reborn for this moment." The Vanguard leader raised its sword higher. "Humanity stands eternal." The circle brightened. The Overmind screamed in fury. The Overmind's counterattack. The giant shadow monster thrust its claws forward and ripped reality open. A black hole of pure corruption formed in its palm. It hurled the sphere of darkness at the Vanguard circle. Eric shouted, "No, if that hits, the ritual fails." Thalos grabbed the controls. "I'll ram it," but Eric stopped him. "No, you'll die and it won't stop it." Then Vraxion stood. His legs were shaking. His voice was small. "I'll do it." Thalos stared at him. Vraxion, "No," but Vraxion stepped forward, placing a hand on the ship's console. "The Codex said my mind has something special. Maybe I can do something." He pressed his palm against the scanner. "Maybe I can distract it." Eric grabbed him. "No, Vraxion, the Overmind's corruption will tear your mind apart." Vraxion shook. "I don't care. If the Vanguard dies, we all die anyway." Before anyone could stop him, Vraxion connected his mind to the battlefield scanner. White sparks shot from his eyes. He screamed in pain. The Overmind felt him. Its red eyes turned toward the tiny Kethorian ship. "YOUTHEPSION." Its corruption beam shifted direction, aimed directly at Vraxion. Thalos screamed. "Vraxion," Eric shouted, "break the link now." But Vraxion held. He clenched his fists. His veins glowed white. A psychic blast erupted from him, striking the Overmind's beam. The blast didn't stop it, but it slowed it just enough. Eric whispered. He bought them the time. The Vanguard leader roared, "Vanguard, unite." The Epsilon surge. White fire erupted. Dozens of Vanguard warriors exploded into pure energy. Their forms turned into streams of light. The streams merged, forming a single colossal spear made of starfire. The Overmind screamed in terror. "NONONOOO." The spear of the Vanguard shot forward. Kethora. It pierced the Overmind's avatar's chest. Light blasted through its entire body. The shadow monster writhed, claws flailing, wings exploding, veins bursting, then boom! A white explosion lit the whole star system. Vraxion collapsed unconscious. The ship shook. Eric grabbed the console to stay standing. Thalos shielded his face. When the light faded, the Overmind's avatar was gone. Every Vraxion drone was dead, and the galaxy was silent. The Vanguard had vanished, burned into pure energy, sacrificed. Eric Valos whispered, "They saved us again." Thalos bent down and lifted Vrasion's unconscious body. He saved them too. But Eric's face was not relieved. It was sad, dark, fearful, because he understood something the others did not. The Overmind had lost only its avatar, not its true body. Somewhere beyond the rift, in a place no one could reach, the real Overmind awakened. And now it knew humans had returned. Eric whispered, "This war has only begun."